My name is Roy Stanton, and I play Ambassador Tavon on Star Trek Phoenix. Well, the story is that I almost didn't hear about it because at the time I was taking a sort of a break from acting to focus on doing the 3D animation work that I had been interested in. But I was still getting notices via email about auditions and such, but I was pretty much just throwing them away as soon as I got them. So I was sitting there one afternoon going through my usual round of throwing away email notices, and I had just thrown one away and thought, hey, that's Star Trek in it. So fished it out of the delete bin and looked at it, and there it was, a casting notice for Star Trek Phoenix. I thought, well, alright, I'm supposed to be taking a break from acting, but I'll take a look at it. If there's a Vulcan character that they need to cast, maybe I'll consider it. I read through the character descriptions, and sure enough, at the time there was then a Vulcan character who was Tavon. So I said, alright, okay, I'll just do another work. Just because I want to be able to say I've auditioned for Star Trek, and we'll see. And then I ended up going to the audition and was so struck by the professionalism of everyone there and their passion and their dedication and their excitement that suddenly I got really excited about it, and then the stakes went up 100%, and I got nervous and I said, okay, I've got to get this part. I really do. And I did. Basically, it came down to that sense of excitement and the professionalism. One of the things that did it for me in the audition, in addition to everyone's attitude, was that they already had a uniform there that they were letting people try on. They had some props there as well. They had a lot of story material in the audition sides that I could look at. It just seems like they were doing their best to make it the most professional fan production they could. I mean, take out the word fan production. They just wanted to make it professional and do something that they thought would be a great project and something they were really dedicated to. So, weighing all those factors and the fact that it's Star Trek, and I'd wanted to be in Star Trek since I was a kid, that was pretty much a no-brainer for me. I went, yeah, if they want me, I'm in. Since August '08. Yeah, for quite a while. Ambassador Tavon is a unique character in that he is the first Romulan Starfleet officer. Originally, he was to be a Vulcan who had a secret that he was actually Romulan. And things changed, the story concept changed over time, and it was brought out that he was just a Romulan. The old idea of it being a secret was relegated to background information. Tavon has a number of different reasons for being on the Phoenix, both personal and related to the larger story arc that concerns many different people in Starfleet, all the politicians, the people in power who are using the Phoenix as a chess piece or what have you. He has a close bond with the captain's father. And he has his reasons for wanting to be on the ship in terms of building a relationship with the captain. He lives by the Vulcan code of logic and non-emotion, but at the same time, being a Romulan, he's physiologically wired to feel very passionate emotions. I mean, he's still just as much a Romulan as anyone we've ever seen in the series. So that breeds a certain amount of conflict within him. And there are other elements in his past relative to why he's on the Phoenix that have created other sources of conflict for him and compel him to want to be on the Phoenix. He's got a background that starts at the Vulcan Science Academy, which he went through, graduated from, and then made a decision to go into Starfleet in order to further explore different cultures with the idea of understanding his own culture, since he is from a bicultural background. He's very proud of his Romulan heritage and very proud of being raised as a Vulcan. His parents were en route to Vulcan with the intent of learning the Vulcan way and bringing it back to Romulus when they were killed, and he was then adopted by a Vulcan and raised as such. So I think he's a very proud individual in many ways. Not that that could be a failing, but it might trip him up in certain situations. It is certainly something that might cloud his vision and get in the way of his objectivity. Fortunately, his Vulcan logic might have to temper that a little bit, but we'll see. There are a lot of great stories yet to be told. The one we're dealing with in the pilot goes right to the root of some of the reasons for him being on the Phoenix, and I think it gives us a little bit more insight into those reasons and into his relationship with the captain, with the doctor, with many of the other members of the crew. But I think what's more exciting is what's yet to come, and that there's a huge picture that's sort of being painted across this new quadrant. And Twan and the crew are deeply enmeshed in it. And there are a few characters that we have yet to see that are going to make for some interesting stories. Am I a Star Trek fan? Dyed-in-the-wool Star Trek fan. Star Trek fan since I was a kid, coming home from school, elementary school, and watching the original series every weekday at the same time. 2, 3, 4, 5 times, you know, to the point where play me the first few seconds of an original series episode and I can tell you which one it is, because I just loved it. It was amazing. It meant a lot to me as a kid. Opened my mind to a lot of different possibilities, different ideas. I think for me it did what Roddenberry originally intended it to do for audiences in the 60s. You know, it was sort of a cultural and mind-expanding experience, and you know, it offered moral lessons and insights into human nature, and it was just exciting and cool. It looked great. I love the design elements of the original series, and I will say this right now, I am pretty much an original series guy. I watched The Next Generation. I love it. I thought it had some great stuff, great characters, terrific stories. I pretty much watched it through beginning to end. Watched a good deal of DS9, watched all the movies, I watched a little bit of Voyager, more of Enterprise, pretty much the first season, but I think ultimately it comes down to original series, characters, gadgets, and stories. For me, the first thing that comes to mind is just the level of polish that is being put on this piece. The production quality. It seems like a lot of people are working very hard to look at all the details, all the things that really make Star Trek, in terms of what we're used to seeing on network television or in film. And that's one thing that always gets me, is the amount of dedication that people put into the series to try and make it look that good, to give it that extra polish. You know, I look at the effects work that's coming in. I look at you know, the rough cut that we've got of the pilot at this point. I watch people working on the performances. I watch people building the sets. You know, and it all just has that same level of dedication. You know, I don't know any of the people who are involved in other fan productions, but being inside of this one and having worked on other feature films, it feels the same. You know, it's like if I were on a feature film set. You know, I've got people who are very serious about what they do. They're having fun, which is the best way to make this kind of a project. But at the same time, you know, they know what they want. They know how they want to have it done, and they're not willing to settle for second best. You know, if it comes down to reshooting things or rethinking something, people will do it just to make sure it has the right look for what we want in the series. A successful and long-running web series that speaks to the desires of the fans for a Star Trek that takes place in the timeline that we've set ours in. Recognition by the major studios, and hopefully the possibility of us being in the vanguard of representing Star Trek as a franchise in new media, which is, you know, web series. I think that is a terrifically exciting new way to present entertainment to people. I think it's really starting to catch on, and I would like to see Star Trek represented well in that capacity, and I think we're the production that can do it. So legitimacy, yeah, from the studios, that's what I want. Um, Only that, you know, what I've said before about the people involved, that every time I think they've given their all, they go a step beyond and give more. For me, it's been an interesting journey in that I came on mostly as an actor, and through one circumstance and another, I've had the opportunity to step in as a writer and a story consultant. And that's been very exciting for me to sort of get a chance to chart the course of these characters and get to know them all. And you know, I think that's one of the other great things about the project, is that it's open-ended enough and everyone is welcoming enough to you as a creative individual to allow you to step in and perhaps offer more than what you originally signed on for. Be it writing, acting, effects work, set construction, design, what have you. You know, I feel like there are areas that I might still want to explore, but at this point, being an actor in the series, playing a character that I absolutely love, and then being able to write some of the words and develop some of the stories for where this is all going to go is just tremendously exciting. It's what keeps me coming back for more, you know, not just the people, but for what they allow me to do. And it's going to keep me involved in this series for the duration.